Good morning, Sunday morning from my car. I'm out running some errands and I'm just having some thoughts on my little drive here that I wanted to share. We saw Three Dog Night in concert last night. Let me tell you, these guys were so much better than I anticipated. I bought these tickets for my brother's birthday last spring. We almost forgot about him. And that morning, my husband sends me a text from upstairs like, you do realize we have Three Dog Night tonight. I'm like, oh, crap, almost missed it. Oh my God. This concert was, if you get a chance to see them and you're into that music, it was so beyond what any of us expected. These guys are in their late 70s and they sound so good. They sound like they did back in the 70s. And, they're moving a little different on stage, but, their hair's grayer, less of it. But it's the three original guys, Chuck Negron. I don't know. You have to look them up. No, they never like rose to becoming like heartthrobs and stuff that I recall. They were just Three Dog Night. They weren't trying to be anything else other than really good musicians. But here's some thoughts. This also is relative to a musical that we saw the other day in New York City called Maybe Happy Ending, which is another thing I can highly recommend that we knew very little about, just bought tickets. We were going in for one night and thought, let's go see a show, got tickets to that, and that was spectacular. So all I knew about it was it has something to do with two robots who fall in love, which does not sound like the type of show that I would normally go to, but it is such a deep, moving exploration into topics of grief, connection, finding connection, love. I mean, I cried throughout that thing many times. It was so beautiful and moving. And some of these thoughts are coming from both of those things, and also going to MoMA and some of the art that we saw there. And just, it's been a intensive time of diving into other people's creativity and stirring things, which is a very good thing to do in life. I'm remembering. And just, anyway, John and I have been talking about that, like how smart that is to do that. So back to Three Dog Night. So these guys, I'm listening to them, like as soon as they took the stage and started singing, I was like, because you see these older guys that are still on the touring circuit, and their voice sounds different, obviously. Aging sounds different. We've seen Todd Rundgren recently, Daryl Hall. It's great to hear them and see them, but there was something about these guys last night that was so pure. And I thought, it's because they've been really taking care of their voices. They have been nurturing their instrument, which is their voice, in the ways that they need to do that, because you don't retain that purity and clarity of a voice at 78 years old without attending to it. So, that was a lesson there, that we can age, but we need to really, things that are important to us, we need to really take care of. And, being in New York City, walking is such a huge thing. Like, how can you live in this city if you can't walk well? And, I started having like a little hip cramp. I'm like, okay, this is something I need to take care of now, because I'm too young at 65 to be having any kind of a hip problem or any kind of ambulation problem. So it didn't inhibit me, but it was a warning. So I think we need to heed those things, and that we can excel in our later years, but it does take some effort to take care of our instruments, which is our body. The other thought that I had along those lines is, it kind of spins off of some of the topics I was saying in my last live, which is about aging, and how fortunate we are, anyone out there that's in my age range, whatever age you are, to be at this age right now with the level of function that you have right now. And how much would my sister, my mother, both of them gone, 30, 36, Lacey Peterson, Dan Markell, how fortunate would they feel to be 65 with all of the signs of aging that a person gets, and the changes to your body, and the changes to your function, and the changes to your appearance, and all those things that happen. How lucky would they feel to have made it this far? And it's not something to be taken for granted, or to be diminished, or to be in any way judged. in ourselves. Embrace those changes that are happening to your body and, well, taking care of ourselves. But yeah, gray hairs, wrinkles on your face, changes to your body that come naturally with aging, changes to your skin, things like that, changes to your shape are going to happen. And it's a honoring of people who didn't get to experience that, to experience it with grace and appreciation that, wow, I made it this age and look at all the signs that I made it. And wouldn't my sister have loved to have one gray hair, to have lived long enough to have one gray hair? So that's part of the reason I let my hair go gray, is because it's like an honoring of them that I got to live this long and got to experience it. And I'm taking them along with me into this journey of aging. And I hope to retain this attitude for the rest of my life. Also along those lines, some of these things, and I'm not sure how all these things hang together, but it's about really appreciating, life is about change. Things are constantly changing. The good things are changing and the hard things are changing. But it's good to remember that the hard things are changing all the time. And if you're going through something right now, it's going to change. It's going to shift. You're not going to be in this state forever. Look back at your life at other hard things that you've been through, and those aren't plaguing you right now, right? An illness that you had, a breakup that you had, an emotional dip that you had. That one's not with you right now. Something else may be with you right now, but that one isn't, because it changed. It's important to remember that things are always changing. And in that vein, what are the things that came up in this musical, that came up in some of the stuff they were saying last night at the concert and some of the music, that it's also about truly, deeply appreciating what is in the moment, and the privilege of being alive, the privilege of having love, the privilege of having the moments that we're having with the people that we love and care about. I was just consumed with that last night with John, my husband and my brother John, and how lucky that we are to be together, and how lucky we are to be sharing this experience, and to be walking to the car and talking about it, and driving home and talking about it, and hearing my brother, which I didn't know. I didn't even know he had a playlist on his phone. I didn't know he knew how to use his phone in that kind of a sophisticated way, because I don't have a playlist on my phone, because I don't know how to do. He's figured out how to do that all on his own. And he said, I had forgotten that song Out in the Country is Three Dog Night. Oh, and there's something I want to bookmark on that too. But he pointed that out in the little program or whatever. Somehow he said, Out in the Country. I'm like, oh wow, I love that song. I hadn't heard it in so long, and that's on their list of hits. I'm going to share that here, because that is such an incredible song. It's written by the songwriter Paul Williams. Remember him? Because I looked it up today. And my brother says, I listen to that every day. It's on my playlist. So he gets in his car and he does his country drive and he listens to the same playlist, and that's on his playlist. When that song came on last night, I burst into tears at the concert. And I forgot it at the end of the concert when I went to the bathroom, and like, thanks guys for telling me that I have mascara all down my face right now, because I forgot that. But there was something about that song that, just thinking about my brother, having it on his playlist, and just taking me back, and just so, so beautiful, that feeling. Those guys have hit the top of the charts in pop music, R&B, country. They talked some during the songs at the concert last night. They played with some symphony in some other country, like Poland or something, and hit the top of the charts with that recording of a symphonic recording. They have covered so many genres, and we were talking about on the ride home that if you sit back and you compare their music, like Shambhala, to Joy to the World, to Out in the Country, to Eli's Coming, that one, to this one, Liar, where they're just yelling, liar, liar, liar. That one, they're so different that I forget that they're Three Dog Night songs, because they're not the kind of band that you hear them and you're like, oh, that's Three Dog Night, because so much of their music sounds similar. Their style and their their vibe really varies more than most bands, I would say. And that you're like, wow, I forgot that was Three Dog Night. Wow. And like if you hear Crosby, Stills, and Nash and Young, you just know that's them, right? But Three Dog Night has more variance in their music than most, I would say. And it just led me to think this morning that, like, good on them for just following, not getting stuck in a groove, literally, and following what was lighting them up. Like, oh, I really love the sound of this song. So many different songwriters, Laura Nero, Paul Williams, very diverse songwriters wrote for them. Hoyt Axton, is that his name? Wrote for them. Like, they just were open to so many different styles and genres of music, and then just followed their passion. And as a trio, mostly it was the three guys, they supported each other in like, I'm just imagining this of like, yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. Like, they weren't blocking that flow, because and that led me to feel like it's okay to pursue different things in life in different stages, or even in the same stage of your life, to change direction, and to like, oh, that's really lighting me up, or God, I'm really interested in that now. And to not feel like we have to always be committed to the same groove, you know? I think that's a way to keep our cognitive functioning going. It's a way to stay true to yourself and to keep evolving. I want to keep evolving to the last day I'm on this earth, and trying new things and thinking new thoughts and meeting new people and exploring new experiences, and open to new ideas. And like, when we saw that musical, we were talking about my dad. He was a big time Broadway musical guy. Like, he came home from work and he had a stack of records and he put them on the turntable, and it was just Broadway musicals, but it was always the same ones. The old school musicals, Cabaret, Sound of Music, Guys and Dolls was his favorite, you know, things like that. And I mean, we know those songs. We knew those songs by heart because we heard them every night. But he was not open to new stuff, you know, as he got older. He just wanted to stay in that older stuff that was comforting to him. And I'm exactly the opposite. I want to see all the new stuff that's out there, and then the risks that people are taking, and the new ways they're telling stories, and the new technology. There's a lot of technology on stage right now on Broadway, which is, I think, is really cool. And so that's kind of along those lines. So I don't know. These are just some things I wanted to share today, that, like, I think it's good to stay, and not everybody wants you to keep evolving, you know, because it's uncomfortable for people sometimes that you kind of want to shift in a new direction. You may want to try a new style of eating. Like, we're eating different in my house now. We just have, we're way more healthy eating now and cooking differently. My husband sort of led that charge. This is a funny thing. He thought that he had, it's like that movie, Last Holiday with Queen Latifah, which is one of my favorite movies. If you haven't seen it, it's a really good movie. And, you know, she thinks she has this disease. Well, he thought he had this disease. And he told me, because anyway, years ago, he had these symptoms, and he went in and it was like this blood disease. And he got tested for the genetic testing for this blood disorder. And he's been telling me now for years that he has the marker for that. So he's just stopped eating red meat, because he's like, that is going to make it worse, and I don't want to stress my body with that. And so he just, I mean, pulled the plug. This is like a steak and burger guy. So I've completely shifted too with that. And not completely, but I don't cook red meat at home at all since he decided to do that. So he recently went to see this doctor. He doesn't have the marker at all. He doesn't have this at all. And so for like the last couple years, he's been like thinking he had this, like, he can't eat sourdough, he can't eat red meat, whatever, and all this stuff. And I'm like, you don't even have this. But he's like, but you know what? I don't want to go back to red meat, because I just think it's better for me in general. So it was like this sort of faux disease caused him to make a change, a lifestyle change, and I flowed along with him. But, you know, not everybody's going to get on board, and so that could be a challenge. But still, you know, consider that, just give yourself permission that it's okay to pursue different avenues in life, different interests, different hobbies, different lifestyle, like I said, ways of eating or ways of traveling or whatever it is that that you're feeling moved. And I think connecting with that, like what what is really moving me? What's stirring me? And, if I hadn't followed that, like what's stirring me is to write this book, which I am finishing this year, by the way. And I haven't planned. So if I hadn't followed that and like so intensely followed that, I would not be here because I would not have met John Hyam because I met him through writing that book. See what I mean? So, things are waiting for us if we put our foot on that new path. And so that was one of the things about the concert and the guys last night too, was that they've explored so many different genres of music. And look what all they've given us. Like they hit so many top 40s, but completely different sounds to me. Different, different vibe in a short amount of time. It's not like, oh, they went through this decade with that style of music. No, they were doing a lot of different styles on the same record even. I just think that's so cool. And the whole concert was like that. It was just a lot of shifting of mood of the music, and it was fantastic. So, yeah, those are just things I want to share today. And I want to leave you on the note of whoever out there needs to hear this. Things are shifting all the time. And don't stay too attached to this hard moment you may be in right now. Don't dig into it because look at how it's moving and changing and shifting because it will move. It will change. And just watch how that's changing. It's going to change moment by moment sometimes, definitely day by day, but you are going to move through this, whatever it is. And remember that. You're not committed to this forever. Your destiny is not committed to this moment forever. And, we got to cherish those special moments too. And like, go where the love is. And like, maybe the only thing that's permanent is that memory of the love that's inside and that we get to share with each other. So, okay, I got to go into Target and run my errand. I'm boiling up in the car now, but I just wanted to share those thoughts this morning. I hope it helps somebody else out there. And I hope you all are doing great on this Sunday. And I am having a wonderful Sunday. I got up at 5:30. I brought these raviolis back. We stopped at this Italian grocer that in New Jersey that I really wanted to go to. They're known for their ravioli. It's called Pastosa. And I bought like 8 dozen of they come in these flat boxes. They're like this big around. And a couple meatballs. I just bought a bunch of stuff there. We just like ran in and just like threw stuff in the cart. And we had planned to do this. And so I made a little thing for my brother at 5:30 this morning that I'm going to bring over to him, which is one big meatball that's this big, and then 6 of the cheese ravioli with a sauce on it. So all he has to do is just pop it in the microwave. So I got up at 5:30, wide awake, took Beasley out, and I'm like, I'm going to do that right now. So all I have to do is pull it out of the fridge and take it over there today. So, and he told me where our plants are full of green tomatoes. So more sauce will be coming. Anyway, Pastosa ravioli. If you're in New York or New Jersey, check it out. They're amazing. And I got some for my friend. I got some lobster ones. I got some basil ones. I don't know. I got a bunch of different flavors for us to play around with. And you can get them frozen or fresh. Anyway, that's just a little aside. Hope you're having a great Sunday out there. And I will catch up with you guys soon. Bye for now.